Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
We come to you beginning with breaking news happening on Detroit's east side, where police have shot and killed a man following a high-speed chase.
Our Mara McDonald is live at the scene near Warren and Dickerson. And Mara, you just got an update from the chief on what happened here.
Kimberly, we did, and let me emphasize that everything out here is preliminary. That's per the chief and everybody out here on the scene, but I want to show you. We've got at least 25 police squad cars out here. This is a scene that goes through multiple locations, not just the two that we have out here, but really this started at a home on Chatsworth, where police are telling us you have a couple, a man and a woman, who have been in an ongoing domestic violence situation for the last 3 years. Well, it really heated up over the last 2 days. They say that a man who, you will see a white Camaro in some of the video here, a man in that white Camaro kept driving by that house, exchanging words with the woman in there, making threats, then leaving, then coming back tonight, shooting up a car at that address, leaving, and then coming back once again. Let's have Chief White pick up where his offices were tonight and where this all started. Take a listen.
He comes back, commits a home invasion while he's kicking in the front door. The officers are in the area. Based on the earlier runs, they see him, he sees them, and he flees from the location. They engage him, pursue him. He leaves at a very, very high rate of speed, ultimately making it in this area on Warren, where he strikes a cab that is sadly occupied by a female citizen. She's ejected and she dies on the scene.
Back here live, so we have an innocent bystander who is ejected from a cab who dies on the scene. Police are telling us after that man in that white Camaro hits that cab, he gets out, and what's unclear right now is whether he fired at officers, whether he never fired at officers, whether he pulled a gun. It's unclear. I can tell you that officers fired at him and he is deceased. Neighbors here in the immediate area will tell you that they heard sirens, they heard a crash, and then when they looked out their windows, they heard and they saw muzzle flashes. They say probably 5 to 7 shots. So we have a lot going on out here tonight. Detroit police are in the initial investigatory stages out here, and we have 2 deceased people out here right now. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, Nevin and Kimberly, and the chief has emphasized everything is preliminary. Back to you.
Incredible. Yeah. Okay. Mara, we appreciate that update.
All right, now to the Ukrainian president, saying the fate of the country is now being decided as the Russians attack Kyiv from multiple directions.
Explosions have been reported in a suburb there, with residents taking up arms to prepare for battle. Meanwhile, President Biden taking the rare step of sanctioning President Vladimir Putin, who is showing no signs of backing down. Alice Barr has the latest.
On the streets of Ukraine, the horrifying evidence of a Russian assault as forces closed in on the capital of Kyiv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warned of a hard night that would decide Ukraine's destiny as reports of civilian casualties rise. Train stations are crammed with desperate families and impossible choices, some hoisting children to safety or leaving loved ones behind. All men aged 18 to 60 ordered to stay in the country as people in trucks hand out guns to civilians.
My husband is still there. We'll fight, even if Europe doesn't help us.
These brothers in their 50s are trying to get back into Ukraine.
This my country. I love Ukraine.
The West fighting with financial weapons. Today, the U.S. joining the European Union in leveling sanctions directly against Russian President Vladimir Putin, a rare step for a world leader. The UN Security Council condemning what members called a brutal invasion.
The nations of the world can, will, and should hold Russia accountable.
For the first time in history, the NATO Security Alliance deploying part of its response force for collective defense along NATO's eastern flank. The 40,000-member force includes American troops. They will not fight in Ukraine. Standing alone, Ukraine's military putting up a tough battle. A Ukrainian official says this video shows a Russian jet shot down. A brave stand against a giant of an enemy on a mission to overthrow the sovereign democracy next door. Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice, breaking news right now at Henry Ford Hospital, where 2 people are hurt after a truck explodes in the hospital's underground parking structure.
The owner of the truck told investigators the valve of a hydrogen tank was left open inside the truck. A 72-year-old woman is in critical condition with facial burns and also internal injuries, and a 53-year-old man is in serious condition right now. That parking structure remains closed.
Turning to the forecast and a chilly start to the weekend. Paul, what are the next 48 hours looking like?
Well, I'll tell you what, you mentioned chilly, and I'll show you temps in a minute. It's really chilly in some spots. Right now, we'll start with Storm Tracker 4, and we have just a few flurries around. Nothing of any consequence. I mean, literally, some of this isn't even hitting the ground. So we're just talking about a few flakes. Now, look at temperatures, areas that have cleared out. We have some single digits in the area, 7 in Lapeer, 5 in Port Huron. It's 11 in Sandusky. Then you get into where there's more cloud cover, and it's in the mid-20s. So quite a difference. We'll actually take a deeper dive into this with 4-zone weather coming up in about 10-15 minutes. But right now, take a look at the temperature trend over the next 7 days. The trend is upward and then kind of flirting along that average line. So, that's going to be pretty good. But the question is, are there any storms coming? We'll talk about all of that in your weekend forecast in just a few minutes.
We had 46 years of stuff in that house. That's how a woman in Rockwood described a devastating fire that has taken more than just her home.
As Jason Colthorpe reports tonight, she was already reeling from heartbreak when this fire broke out yesterday morning.
Well, one look around and you can see just how bad the damage is here, and clearly it's a total loss. And for Sandy, the woman who lived here, her heart was already so heavy with loss. Just 4 years ago, her daughter died at the age of 34, and 2 weeks ago, she lost her husband, and both their sets of ashes were in this house.
It's hard to watch your house completely burn down.
Sandy Subiak had been in this house on Stevens Road for 28 years with her husband, Big Ed Subiak, who she just lost this month after 46 years of marriage. His ashes appear to be lost, but the family thinks some of her daughter Brandy's ashes were saved.
That's the only thing that mattered to me, was getting the 2 urns out and my dogs.
One of those 2 dogs was Brandy's. He hasn't been found.
He's the only thing I had left of her.
And Sandy thought she also lost her other dog, Stevie.
He was in the fire for at least an hour before they found him. My neighbor heard him barking.
Stevie was rushed to the Woodhaven Animal Hospital and put in its hyperbaric chamber. He survived and is back in Sandy's arms tonight.
He still smells like smoke.
It's a small miracle that right now is tough to celebrate.
I lost so much in there. I lost so much of my daughter, so much of my husband, my photos, everything. It's so heartbreaking.
And by the way, this could have been worse, considering Sandy's 18-year-old granddaughter was the only one home sleeping when the fire started. So what woke her?
She says it was her grandpa that did it. She said her grandpa's the one that woke her up, and then she heard the crackling and knew she had to get out.
Big Ed just keeping an eye on things. By the way, Sandy, obviously thankful her granddaughter is okay, and Stevie made it. She's also thankful for her network of friends and family that are helping her through this time. They've started an online fundraiser for her. Of course, Sandy didn't want that, didn't ask for that. However, they're doing it, and so far they've raised a few $1,000s to help her. If you'd like to help, we've included that with our story at clickondetroit.com. We're downriver tonight. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Okay, Jason, thanks.
Another freeway road rage shooting under investigation tonight. State police say a woman's car was hit with gunfire near northbound I-75 near Schaefer. The woman called police while driving home, saying that someone had shot at her after she failed to yield to another car at the end of the ramp from Outer Drive onto 75. Her car was hit by a single shot, but fortunately, no one was hurt.
4 Lincoln Park High School students are sent to the hospital after smoking meth in a school bathroom. That's according to the district. The district sent a letter to parents saying the students recorded it all on video and then shared the video on social media. Police got involved and then verified that the substance the students were smoking was indeed meth. Police are now investigating the incident, which could result in charges.
New guidance tonight from the CDC regarding masks.
Indoor masking is no longer required across most of the United States. According to the CDC, more than half of U.S. counties are now at low or medium risk for COVID-19. That means nearly 70% of Americans will no longer be required to wear masks in those areas. It's the first revision to the agency's indoor mask guidance since July. Here at home, the state reports 3,120 new cases over the last 2 days, an average of more than 1,500 cases per day. 96 new deaths have been reported since Wednesday.
Construction season officially underway with I-75 now closed in Oakland County. MDOT, in fact, has closed both directions of the freeway between I-696 all the way up to Square Lake Road. This weekend, crews will begin demolition on the overpasses at Gardenia and Lincoln Avenues. MDOT expects the freeway, though, will reopen in time for the Monday morning commute. But if you're going to be out driving this weekend, keep that one in mind. That's a long stretch.